Alright, this vlog pretty much consists of all the views what you're pretty much expected to get out of the brand new Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now it's been out pretty much for the past few months. I figured, what the heck? I've always been big into Droid devices versus iPhones. Now don't get me wrong, Apple's got a pretty great ecosystem with a lot of users out there using Apple products, and it's just very simple to use and it's a good mobile device. So this right now is front camera with full HD 1080p at 24 frames per second. Stabilization on. How do I look? Front camera, full HD 1080p, 60 frames per second, stabilization on. How do I look? This is front camera, UHD 4K at 24 frames per second, stabilization on. How do I look? This is the front camera with UHD 4K, 60 frames per second, stabilization on. How do I look? This is the rear camera with full HD 1080p, 24 frames per second, stabilization on. How do I look? This is the rear camera with full HD 1080p at 60 frames per second, stabilization on. How do I look? This is the rear camera at UHD 4K, 24 frames per second, stabilization on. How do I look? This is rear camera with full HD 4K, 60 frames per second, stabilization on. How do I look? This is rear camera at full HD 1080p, 24 frames per second, stabilization on with the ultra wide mode. How do I look? This is the rear camera at UHD 4K, 24 frames per second, now set to wide mode. Stabilization is still on. How do I look? This is now the 8K rear camera. Stabilization on. How do I look? And this is my arm extended all the way forward. So you do get that cropped kind of look. So now going back to the front camera, being shot right now at 60 frames per second with 4K full HD. Stabilization on. I'm gonna just add pretty much the notes. What I found is that you can only get that ultra wide mode look while recording with the rear camera only at 24 frames per second. You can't get that at 60 frames per second. Other notes to add into this test is that, I mean, you're really getting great quality when you're shooting at that 4K with the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. It looks really, really, really sharp. I mean, compared to something that I have of a mid-end DSLR camera such as a Lumix, Panasonic, GH5, I mean, it's just right on par pretty much with it. And even to add with the stabilization too as well, it's beautiful. I'm not gonna complain, 1 ounce. So the question to ask, I mean, for anyone out there that's thinking about vlogging or considering of using a cell phone for vlogs, would you consider picking up a Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra for a daily run and gun mobile device for vlogging? I mean, sure, it would be great, but I haven't done a test yet at night, but when recording, I don't think you're really gonna get that. You're not really gonna get a good high quality video format when you're vlogging during a dark scene or a night mode. That is something to pretty much consider too as well. Well, that's all I have pretty much for this video, guys. I figured I'd share to you guys exactly what all the settings can look like with the brand new Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, with both the front and the rear cameras with different modes. I'm not gonna bother pretty much recording this at night because it's gonna look really noisy and grainy and it's gonna look very choppy. I think Samsung really just nailed it for the cameras, particularly during bright conditions and environments like what it is right now. And considering that I am recording with it all in the front screen, makes it even look really good. I think that Apple pretty much is way behind when it comes to image quality when it comes to video recording through a mobile device. That's pretty much why I invested onto this brand new phone. Overall rating and performance of the image quality, I mean, that's gonna be to be determined once I go edit this video together on the computer. But other than that, I mean, having 60 frames per second with the stabilization on and how there's no jitter on the edges of the screen, that's pretty much what got me sold with this phone. Hope you guys liked the vid. Comment down what you guys think, which modes and which settings you guys preferred was the best. Do subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like button, and until next time, enjoy yourselves a very safe quarantine time, and until next time, guys, peace. And another cool feature with the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra is with the front camera, you can do live doodle and draw onto the screen, and the camera pretty much tracks and follows every movement of it. And I mean, it's pretty cool.